This is Donald La, currently a student at the University of Melbourne and the founder of Quacked AI, a startup providing AI education to students and workflow optimizing chat agents to businesses.
And hopefully there's a bit of space there to integrate AI into their workflows, whether that's actually building out AI tools itself or just going in and educating them on AI. As we know, a lot of people are still skeptical about AI. They're scared of some of the use cases, how the singularity could occur, it's like the Terminator or something. But
join us today in debunking AI myths.
So for the first one, AI will replace all human jobs. What are your thoughts?
I think it is replacing some jobs right now, but in the process, it opens up new jobs. So let's say you're like a sales rep in a company, and then your boss brings in like an AI chatbot that sort of does your job for you.
Yeah.
There's still a need to instruct the AI on how it should operate and monitoring its outputs. So the sales rep in itself is still doing sales work, but they're just keeping track of like automated work. I mean, in history, we've had like the calculator, we've had like, Microsoft Word that's replaced like people handwriting things. Like there's always new technology that's sort of shortcutting or saving us time in our work. And AI is just another example of this, but at a much bigger scale. So as I said with, instructing AI, people in like the original sales rep role, they could sort of transfer to a prompt engineering role where through their expertise of selling products to different people, they can give a set of instructions to the AI instead and spend their time fine-tuning and improving how the AI operates and allowing that AI to do more work at a bigger scale. So there's still opportunities for people to work in the same industry, in the same role, but in terms of AI implementation, they could be there to support and monitor how the AI operates as well.
For the next one, so AI is only for tech experts.
I think it's more applicable to the typical audience, if anything.
Yeah.
I think everyone obviously knows like ChatGPT and all these like different large language models. And I think the majority of the people on Earth who use AI are using tools like ChatGPT. The tech experts are building the technology behind it, but the most impressive use cases where we can help the most people lies in the least technologically difficult to use tools like ChatGPT. It's just like having a conversation with someone, right? Or writing a set of instructions to someone or something. So I think AI can most definitely support anyone, any industry. There is a bit of a learning curve, but you could probably get it over it in like 30, 45 minutes. So definitely accessible to anyone.
Definitely. As a student, we use ChatGPT like all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really accessible for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Helps you with like brainstorming, proofreading anything, or just, having like a conversation about what it is you're learning. There are so many use cases. And honestly, your creativity is the limit of AI. If you can think of something, it could probably help you out.
The next one, AI will achieve human level intelligence soon.
I think it's developing really quickly. I actually haven't checked in a while just how fast it's progressing. It's doing some really impressive stuff, but I don't think AI, for a while at least, will really be able to comprehend like human emotional intelligence. It's definitely very intellectual in terms of it's all built on patterns, right? The way that AI spits information out to us, let's say again in ChatGPT, is based off patterns and the way it's trained. So it can mimic the way humans chat, speak, or like perform like maths calculations, for example. But there isn't really much of a pattern to how people feel. It's definitely like a case-by-case basis. And on the emotional side of things, I think humans still have a really big opportunity to support one another, and we shouldn't lean on AI for those sort of things as such at the moment. And in terms of reaching human intelligence, I think it's gonna always do the intellectual part pretty well. It'll always be faster than us because it's running on patterns. But there are so many other aspects of the human life that I don't think you can really mimic with artificial intelligence. So I think it's a long, long way away.
Next one is AI is a threat to humanity.
I think at the moment it's a benefit. I just think it's framed really unoptimistically in the media, on the news, whatever. I think for many people, and I guess the mission of Quacked AI is to just provide that surface level education and a deeper dive as well into how AI can help them on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like very quickly, when you show people in their specific job, in their specific lifestyle, that AI does have use cases for them, that they'll sort of change their mindset. There'll be a mindset shift there where they'll realize the value that AI can offer to them, most of the time for free as well. Whereas the people who are a bit more, I guess, against adopting AI in any form, they'll have this like predisposition that AI is like a threat. And so I feel like with the right education, even at the very like basic level, people will be able to sort of like change their mindset around whether or not it's a threat for sure.
Do you feel like AI is like taking over all the jobs?
I feel like it definitely is taking over some jobs, but again, it's opening doors for many, many, many more jobs. I feel like someone like a cafe barista, I don't know in how many thousands of years AI was going to take that job. So, you know, at that level, it's not taking over any jobs. I feel like there are a lot of jobs where we're pretty against having AI take it on because there is a really big risk of like errors. Whereas human error could be even less than the AI error itself because it might not be well trained in a specific industry. So humans, for the most part, will still be able to hold on to their jobs. I feel like in the places where they have been taken over, we should also acknowledge that other technology has taken jobs in the past, but we realize that new jobs emerged from it. So, you know, I guess like the human calculators back then, like in like the space race days, like their jobs are sort of taken over now by like software and like all these different like technology essentially doing all the calculations for them. But it's opened up new jobs to people who have to operate the software. It's opened up more jobs in the sense that AI will be able to help us do all like the basic work so that us as humans can focus on even more high level important work, which sort of again opens up more doors for different people.
I feel like AI is more useful like as a tool, so we can use it as a way to like increase our knowledge of other things.
Exactly. It's pretty hard for AI to be automatically running by itself. There are a lot of use cases there, but you know, for the majority of jobs that people think are at risk, you still need humans sort of organizing and operating the AI itself.
It's not perfect. There's always errors.
I mean, humans make errors as well, but humans have been well trained a lot of these jobs for many years, and they have that intuition to ask for help. And AI is going to wait there until it gets retrained again, right? So at least humans can make more proactive decisions if they do make an error. There's a lot of space there for humans to improve, as opposed to AI.
The next one is AI is only for large corporations.
That's pretty interesting because I've only worked with smaller ones. So I've worked with like even some state schools as well who are using it at a very basic level, but it's still AI in some capacity. I know companies like EY have like built like their own language models, which is really impressive, but that's costing them like millions and millions of dollars, right? The average human isn't going to be spending that much money on AI. And I don't think it takes the work of a large corporation to be using AI. Like an AI sort of phone call assistant can be helping a local restaurant or something. They could help take calls so that, you know, people on the floor can help serve actual customers at their tables as opposed to like running to the phone every second. Like there are so many day-to-day applications where AI can support us. Again, it's just about realizing that these solutions exist and making them more accessible to everyone. So from studying in your bedroom to being a CEO of a company, AI can support anyone at any step of the way across different tasks. You just sort of see how the big corporations are using AI. But I honestly think AI can help the other 90% of people more than it can help the top 10. There are already so many people helping those large corporations, but in like your local business, there are so many gaps to cover that AI could sort of go in, fill it up, and you know, allow people to do their best work and to do the work that they love and enjoy.
It can be accessed by everyone. Super easy to use.
It's super easy to use and doesn't cost too much. It probably costs less than hiring a new person for the role, for example. So definitely a lot of potential there. And I just hope that more people come out to teach and to build products that can really support all these different people from point A to point B.
And the last one is AI development is expensive and time consuming.
It can get pretty pricey. Definitely do agree with that. There are definitely things people are working on to make things cheaper, whether that's like finding ways to train your own like large language models at a cheaper rate, or even for someone like myself, accessing tools and services that I can use to build the actual AI tools for like local businesses or schools. So it does cost quite a bit, but if you put into the grand scheme of things, the value it offers, if you were to convert that into like X amount of dollars, is typically still less. And I think one of the big value propositions of AI is that it can do things automatically for us. It can save us time. But the other one is also that it can often be cheaper. So even at like the smaller scales, I'm a pretty firm believer that the AI technology that people in the same space as me are building is saving people money and time. So the numbers that pop up are expensive, but when you sort of put into perspective the value it offers, it sort of outweighs the cost there. And if anything, the work that the AI produces can produce even more money beyond its own costs. So it's actually helping you make more money for your business, for example.
That is so cool. I feel like a lot of people don't really think about how it actually increases like the money, like how it affects everyone else and allows everyone to have a better understanding of how it works.
Exactly. I think it's taking that small step back and really thinking about, okay, well, first, AI isn't that scary. If you think from the perspective, how can it help me? It opens up so many doors. Like there are so many gaps that it can cover. And when you start to realize the actual effect that AI has in practice, it really does revolutionize the way in which, you know, small or big corporations work. From A to Z, there's definitely a lot of impact that AI can have on people.
So for your startup, did you have to like invest a lot of money into it?
No, I started with $0. All the things I first started off with were free. I built like a few prototypes with no money to show to like local schools or businesses. And any money that I made once I signed like an initial contract, for example, I use that money to then pay for more services to make it even better. So I just proved that it could work from the get-go, and I said, for this price, I can get started straight away. And so there isn't much you need to sort of enter at first. Obviously, there are some points along the journey where you're like, oh, it might be a bit quicker and efficient for myself if I put my own money into it, but it's never like a big sum of money. I think at one point it was like, okay, I've made a little bit of money off this one project, but in order to pay for like an extra service, I might put in like $50 of my own that I worked for. And then, I think you should always be thinking about how you can spend the least money at the start as well, because you don't necessarily know if the entrepreneurial journey is the right one for you, or it might not be the right project that you're working on. You could come up with something later, but you don't want to dump all your money into your first idea. So definitely thinking of ways to, I guess, bootstrap, but at $0 at the start, and finding the free tools to use just to prove that what you're doing is actually worth your time. Then you can start to put your own money in or figure out ways to make some money to sort of make everything within your own startup self-sufficient.
And did you receive any funding from like the government or other people?
Not at the moment, no. It's all sort of been through myself. What I was building was pretty new, so the funding wasn't, I didn't really meet the mandates for a lot of the grants. But I had a couple of sponsorships along the way to make certain like products or experiences more accessible for myself. But otherwise, it's all been from either my own pocket or whatever I've made along the journey so far. So it's definitely very doable.
And what is your vision for the future of Quacked AI?
Yeah, so pretty lucky at the moment, chatting with a few like other local Australian businesses, so not just schools, and hopefully there's a bit of space there to integrate AI into their workflows, whether that's actually building out AI tools itself or just going in and educating them on AI. As we know, a lot of people are still skeptical about AI. They're scared of some of the use cases, how the singularity could occur, it's like the Terminator or something, but we don't have to be worried about that too much. I think, just continuing to scale operations in the sense of providing many different audiences with AI education is just something that is pretty big of a passion of mine. So I think, just sort of continuing to spread the awareness around, and if applicable, actually going into these businesses and building out tools that can help them work faster and easier.
What like challenges did you face, and like how do you overcome it?
I think the first one is not knowing what you're doing from the start. I feel like it's a pretty lonely journey. Even now, albeit I have, a couple more months of experience, almost a year now under my belt, I still go into doing my own work each and every day thinking, is this the right step? Is this the best use of my time? Am I even doing work that could improve the startup I'm working on? Is this actually going to bring me closer towards this mission I've been trying to achieve for the last 12 months? And so I think it's very lonely in that it's hard for you to sort of reach out to people all the time because it's definitely like a mental game, and you're constantly battling yourself, and you tell yourself you want to achieve this dream, but then you tell yourself, but I have all these obstacles in the way. And there's always ways to, overcome these obstacles, but the first step is acknowledging that you need the help, and it's really putting yourself out there and just asking the right people for help. That is definitely a challenge. You don't realize it until you start doing it. It's definitely a pretty big challenge, and it's sort of like a personal development thing that you overcome as you go on this journey. And I guess another thing as well is just trying to balance everything. Because yes, you want to work hard, achieve your dreams, and study hard as well, but there's also a social life that you want to manage, hanging out with your friends, and, keeping up with, going out for your family as well, I think is super important. And you can sort of learn to forget about those things sometimes when you're so caught up in trying to achieve all these different milestones in your career. So definitely, yeah, A is making the time for family and friends, and then B is just the mental game that you sort of have to battle through as you become an entrepreneur.
How do you balance like your academics and like your extracurriculars?
Yeah, so I think one thing is you do have to make some sacrifices in some places. Sometimes you do study more, sometimes you do work a little bit more. But I think it's realizing that balance and understanding that no week is ever the same. So it's all about prioritizing what's most important. There are some weeks in uni where you're just going through lecture content, going to your tutorials as usual, but then there are other weeks where you have like an MST coming up and like 3 other assignments due in the same week. So it's really figuring out, okay, for this given week, which sort of amongst work and study takes priority. And then from there, you can really block out the time allocated to different tasks, and then whatever's left over, obviously you can go out and spend with your friends and family as well. But in saying that, I still put my friends and family above everything. It's above work and study still. So if family members like, all right, let's go out and catch up, then I'm more than happy to sort of, find some time in my week to go out and hang out with them. I'm lucky enough to be part of a uni social club as well, where I'm able to really let loose and still, do work in relation to that uni club, but then, have it all formulate into like events every couple of months that I can really enjoy with my mates and sort of see the impact of my work. And I guess just being a part of that community in general has allowed me to make a bunch of new friends who not only support me in my studies, but support me in my work, and just, I love hanging out with them. So yeah, it's a great balance so far.
That's so sweet that you prioritize your friends and family over everything else.
Yeah, it's definitely, sometimes it's not the case.
Yeah.
But you really try and make it a priority for most weeks, for sure. It's really important to me.